We should point out to the audience that al-Falih is not just the chairman of Saudi Aramco. He is also the energy minister. So if he says it's still on, it's still on, right?
I would say so, yeah. And this seems to be a bit more of a tempest in a teapot at this point. I mean, you have him coming out almost directly after. And remember, of course, that we're in the middle of a time when the entire Arab world is on holiday. So usually if you're going to make a bad announcement, you'd want to slip it in under the radar at a time when all the markets are closed. But I thought it was really interesting. I had just sat down for Swan Lake and we just finished the first act. And right after this, I get on my phone and I start moving around and trying to pick up the pieces of what was happening next. And you have this statement out in just a few short hours from Mr. al-Falih. So in terms of what's going to happen next, we always knew that they were not really on track here. We always knew that they were slowing down. And it doesn't seem to be anything new except for this disbanding of these advisors. I mean, are they going to pay these guys?
So what do we think here? That Reuters did Q equals D, that they disband the advisors, so that means
that the entire thing is
that the whole thing is scrapped?
Possibly.
Or is this damage limitation, I mean, the fact that he's kind of saying, you know, like Sensei, like it'll happen at some point, we don't know when, but when conditions. I mean, you don't have to say it's scrapped, you just don't have to do it at some point. Does that mean actually it may not happen?
If that's the case, I mean, that's going to be pushed way off down the road. And the question, of course, now is not only is this going to really impact what's happening at home, because you remember in Saudi Arabia right now, they've got a huge privatization program right now. They're really, really working to bring people, foreign investors into that Saudi market. They really want to make that work. And I think the fact that they've had to come out and address something like this at what is essentially still a sensitive time, even if it's in the middle of the summer, even if it's in the middle of this Eid holiday, is something that's going to be negative for them. I mean, it just doesn't look very good that they have to keep coming up and answering these questions. But remember, this is, you know, the Gulf Arab states are known for this. They make huge announcements, and then, you know, it doesn't really happen, and then it just goes away, and then it's swept under the rug.
It's almost like a never-ending roadshow, so it keeps on coming back. But in some ways, that's not necessarily a negative, because you've still got all these different jurisdictions trying to lure Saudi Aramco. So they rolled out the red carpet in London, they rolled out the red carpet in New York, and actually all the way to Washington, really. So if we then get signals that this is back on, surely that charm offensive continues again from these countries, which for the Saudis trying to do business elsewhere is not necessarily a negative.
I want to follow on to that, because remember, I spoke with the energy minister just several months ago when the Crown Prince was on that road show. Take a listen to what he had to say.
The timing and the exact venue will be announced when we're ready.
But you said you were ready.
Well, we're ready with the preparation. The company is 100% ready. The board of directors of Saudi Aramco, which I chair, have reviewed in every meeting over the last 2 years the progress, including a couple of weeks ago we've reviewed the 2017 financials, which have been prepared in accordance with international accounting standards, and it's investor friendly. And the company is ready. The government has also changed its appropriate tax laws and regulatory environment to accommodate a public listing, and the government is ready from a regulatory standpoint. What remains is the selection of a potential secondary venue and the timing. And like I said, we need to make sure the markets are ready for us to do that, and we're ready to do it in the second half if we determine that the timing is optimal. But if we have to slip, we will slip. I don't see 2018 as a necessary year to list unless it's optimum.
So this is really nothing new than what he told me just a few months ago. It's going to be about when the timing is optimal, and we had already seen them over these last several months really going off of the time frame that they'd already set for themselves anyway. So if you spend a lot of time in the Gulf Arab countries, as I do, this is really not that surprising.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.